The scary part is not that you feel lazy. The scary part is that you are starting to build a whole life around that feeling. One slow morning becomes one slow week, one slow week becomes one slow year, and then you wake up wondering where your fire went. And if you do not face this now, what feels small today will quietly steal everything you could have been. If these words feel like they were meant for you, then stay close to this voice, keep walking with me, and give this channel a place in your life because some messages are too important to hear only once. Listen, I know you are tired. I know you have started over more times than you can count. I know what it feels like to look at your own life and feel ashamed of how much you know and how little you do. But hear me clearly. You do not need more guilt. You need a wake-up call. You need truth. You need movement. And the truth is simple. If you want your life back, you have to kill your laziness. You have to kill your laziness before it kills your confidence, your time, and your future. That is the battle. Not tomorrow, not next month, now. Because laziness is not always sleeping all day. Sometimes laziness looks like endless thinking, endless planning, endless waiting. Sometimes laziness wears clean clothes, smiles in public, and still goes home with nothing done. Think about that. A lot of people are not resting, they are hiding. Hiding from effort, hiding from discomfort, hiding from the hard truth that life does not change because we mean well. Life changes when we move. Life changes when we do the thing. Life changes when we keep our word to ourselves. And that is where most people break. Not in talent, not in luck, not in chance, but in private, in the quiet, in the hour when no one is watching and the bed feels warmer than the dream. That is where futures are built or buried. A lazy day feels small when it happens. That is the lie. A lazy day is never just a day. It is a vote for weakness, a vote for delay, a vote for the life you say you do not want. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and then regret starts speaking in your own voice. It says, I had time, I had chances, I had a shot. Why did I waste it? Let that settle in. You do not become strong by wanting strength. You do not become sharp by admiring discipline. You do not become proud of yourself by making promises at night and breaking them in the morning. No excuses, no waiting, no rescue, just action. The person capable of changing your life is already in the mirror, and the mirror is tired of hearing big dreams from a man with small habits. That may sting. Good. Some pain is clean pain, some pain wakes you up. I am not here to insult you. I am here to remind you that your life is too valuable to be lived half awake. There is more in you than this. More fight, more focus, more hunger. But it will not appear while you keep making peace with comfort. Comfort is not evil, but too much comfort will make you weak. It will make you soft in your mind, soft in your will, soft in your standards. Then one day you will ask life for big rewards with a small spirit, and life will say no. So start here. Stop saying, this is just how I am. Stop calling yourself lazy like it is your name. Stop treating delay like it is harmless. It is not harmless. It is expensive. It is costing you respect. It is costing you trust in yourself. It is costing you years you can never buy back. Kill your laziness because every hour you leave it alive, it feeds on your future. So let me ask you something. How much longer are you willing to hand your life over to a version of yourself that always says later? Most people think laziness is a mood. It is not. It is a pattern. It is learned. It is trained. It is repeated until it feels natural. And what is trained can be untrained. What is repeated can be replaced. What feels natural can be broken. That should give you hope because it means you are not stuck with this forever. But it should also remove your hiding place because now you cannot say you are helpless. You are responsible. Let us make this plain. A field does not become full of weeds in one day. It becomes full of weeds because nobody worked the soil. Nobody pulled them out while they were small. Nobody paid attention. That is how laziness grows in a man, not in one giant failure, but in little moments of neglect. 5 more minutes, one more scroll, one more excuse, one more promise to begin tomorrow, and slowly the weeds take over. Then the dream that once looked alive starts looking far away, not because the dream was fake, but because the soil was ignored. Think about that. Some of you are not missing talent, you are missing care, you are missing daily work, you are missing the plain, boring, honest effort that turns a seed into something strong. Everybody wants the fruit. Very few respect the watering, everybody wants the harvest. Very few love the dirt, everybody wants to feel proud. Very few are willing to do what pride requires. That is why you have to stop asking, how do I feel? And start asking, what am I feeding? Because every habit feeds something. Your actions are feeding discipline or feeding laziness, feeding courage or feeding fear, feeding your future or feeding your excuses. There is no neutral day. There is no harmless drift. You are becoming somebody every single day. You are training your body, training your mind, training your identity. When you quit early, you train quitting. When you delay hard things, you train delay. When you run from effort, you train weakness. And then you wonder why discipline feels hard. It feels hard because you have practiced the opposite. But that can change. Brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. You do not fix a life in one burst of emotion. You fix it by keeping one promise. Then another, then another. You say you will wake up and you wake up. You say you will walk and you walk. You say you will study and you study. Small acts, strong meaning. Because every time you keep your word, you repair the relationship with yourself. That relationship matters more than people think. A man can survive criticism from the world. What breaks him is disappointment in his own eyes. When you stop trusting yourself, everything gets heavy. Goals get heavy, mornings get heavy, even hope gets heavy. But when you begin to trust yourself again, something changes. You stand differently, you speak differently, you breathe differently. Why? Because your identity is no longer built on wishful thinking. It is built on proof. Tiny proof at first, yes, but real proof. And real proof changes a human being. So do not wait for some giant breakthrough. Do not wait for a magical Monday. Do not wait for a perfect plan. Start pulling weeds. Start cleaning the soil. Start taking care of what you say you care about. One page, one push-up, one call, 1 hour without wasting your mind. That is how the field changes. That is how the harvest changes. That is how a lazy man begins to disappear. Not by talking about becoming better, but by becoming better in small secret ways before anyone claps for him. Let that settle in. You are not doomed to stay this way. But you are also not allowed to keep acting surprised by a life shaped by repeated neglect. If you keep feeding what weakens you, weakness will grow. If you feed what strengthens you, strength will grow. Simple, hard, true. So now ask yourself this. When tomorrow arrives wearing your name and your face, which version of you is going to meet it? Now let us go deeper because this is where a lot of people lose the fight. They think action comes after motivation. They think they need to feel ready first. They think discipline is a feeling. It is not. It is a decision that often shows up before the feeling does. Your body understands movement better than your mind understands speeches. That is why one real action can do more for you than 10 hours of overthinking. A rusty engine does not get smooth by being admired. It gets smooth by running, by moving, by heating up, by being used again. You are no different. The reason you feel stuck is not always because life is confusing. Sometimes you feel stuck because you have been sitting still too long. Too much thought, too little motion, too much fear, too little proof, too much watching, too little doing. Think about that. The first step almost always feels ugly. That is normal. The first workout feels weak. The first draft feels messy. The first morning feels cruel. The first hour without your old comfort feels empty. Good, good, good. That does not mean you are failing. That means you are waking up parts of yourself that have been sleeping. And sleeping parts complain when you try to wake them. Your mind will say, not now. Your body will say, too tired. Your habits will say, start tomorrow. But you cannot let old patterns vote on a new life. No one is coming to wake you up. No one is coming to drag you to the work. No one is coming to build the future you keep talking about. That part is yours. And the beautiful thing, the hard thing, the freeing thing, is that once you accept that, your power comes back. Because if no one is coming to save you, then no one is stopping you either. Listen to me carefully. You do not need to win the whole year today. You need to win the next move. Stand up, wash your face, make the bed, open the book, tie your shoes, turn off the noise. Start before your feelings agree. Start while your feelings complain. Start while the room is quiet and your excuses are still stretching their legs. That is how strength is built. Not in dramatic moments, but in these plain moments where you choose movement over mood. I know that does not sound fancy. Good. Truth is usually simple. The people who change are not always the most gifted. They are the people who stop making decisions based on comfort. They let action lead and emotion follow. And here is what happens next. Once you begin, resistance often gets smaller. Not gone, but smaller. The mind that fought you at the start begins to calm down. The body that felt heavy begins to wake up. The task that looked huge starts breaking into pieces you can actually carry. That is why starting matters so much. Starting turns fog into shape. Starting turns fear into fact. Starting turns stories into proof. And proof is powerful. One honest hour changes the way you see the day. One disciplined morning changes the way you see yourself. One promise kept changes the tone of your whole week. Then the engine gets warmer. Then the work gets cleaner. Then the man in the mirror starts looking more familiar because he looks like someone who follows through. Kill your laziness in the moment it asks for delay. Kill your laziness in the moment it asks for comfort over growth. Kill your laziness by moving before your mind can make another speech. This is how you take your life back. Not with a perfect mood, not with a burst of hype, not with some giant secret, but with motion, plain motion, honest motion, repeated motion. So answer this without hiding. If you keep waiting to feel ready, when exactly do you think your life is going to begin? But even movement is not enough if your world keeps pulling you back into the same old pattern. We have to talk about your environment, your standards, and the daily things shaping you when you are not paying attention. Because laziness loves friendly places. It loves easy chairs, endless noise, messy rooms, open tabs, late nights, cheap pleasure, and people who clap for potential while ignoring results. It loves a life with no edges, no structure, no standards, no consequence. Let that settle in. A magnifying glass takes scattered sunlight and turns it into fire. The sun was already there. The heat was already there. But once the light was focused, it changed what it touched. Your life works the same way. You do not always need more energy. Sometimes you need less scatter, less clutter in your room, less clutter in your phone, less clutter in your head, less random, more purpose, more order, more direction. Think about how hard it is to do strong things in weak surroundings. If your phone is full of escape, if your room is full of delay, if your friends are full of excuses, if your nights are full of nonsense, then of course your mornings feel heavy. Of course your goals feel far away. Of course your discipline feels fragile. You are trying to grow in a place that keeps feeding what should be starving. So make your life help you. Put the book where your hand can reach it. Put the shoes by the door. Put the alarm across the room. Delete what wastes your mind. Clean the desk. Make the bed. Prepare the clothes. Decide the hour. Lower the friction for the man you want to become. And raise the friction for the habits trying to kill him. Simple changes, strong effect. Because environment speaks. It whispers or it warns. It pushes you forward or pulls you back. And your standards matter just as much. Standards are not fancy words. They are the lines you refuse to cross, the things you no longer allow, the small agreements you make with your future. A man with low standards negotiates with every excuse. A man with high standards does not ask his mood for permission. He says, this is what I do now. He says, this is not up for debate. He says, I do not break my word for comfort anymore. That is power. Quiet power. Real power. We think power is loud. Often it is not. Often power is a man getting out of bed when he does not feel like it. Power is a woman turning off the distraction and staying with the task. Power is keeping the promise when there is no applause. That kind of power changes families, changes futures, changes bloodlines. And do not miss this. Laziness is not only about work. It can poison your whole spirit. It can make you late in your words, slow in your choices, weak in your care, absent in your own life. You stop showing up fully. You live in a fog. You become available for everything easy and unavailable for everything important. That is no way to live. So tighten your world. Not to punish yourself, but to protect yourself. Protect your attention. Protect your mornings. Protect your standards. Protect the version of you that is trying to grow. Because if you do not guard it, weaker habits will walk right back in and sit at your table like they own the place. No more. Not now. Not after this. The goal is not to become perfect. The goal is to become clear. Clear about what matters. Clear about what has to go. Clear about the kind of life that deserves your energy. And once life gets clearer, action gets cleaner. Then discipline stops feeling like a cage and starts feeling like freedom. Because now you are not dragged around by every urge and every distraction. Now you are leading. Now you are choosing. Now you are building a life that actually respects your future. Tell me honestly, when your room, your screen, and your daily habits cast their vote on the person you are becoming, what are they saying about you? Now we come to the deepest part of this whole fight. Laziness is not just a habit problem, it is often a self-respect problem. Somewhere along the way, a lot of people stopped believing their future deserved their effort. They got hurt, they got tired, they got embarrassed, they failed a few times, and slowly they stopped treating their own life like something sacred. So they lowered the bar, they made peace with less, they laughed things off, they acted casual. But deep down, it was not peace, it was surrender. And I need you to hear this with an open heart. Your future still deserves your effort, even if your past was messy. Your future still deserves your best, even if you wasted years. Your future still deserves a disciplined version of you, even if the old you has been weak for a long time. Do not punish tomorrow for what yesterday did. Think about that. Seasons do not change because the tree feels ready. They change because time moves and life demands it. Winter ends. Spring comes. Growth begins. Whether the tree complains or not, you are in a season right now. Maybe a hard one, maybe a cold one, maybe a quiet one where nothing seems to move. But the next season of your life will ask a question. Did you prepare in the cold, or did you sleep through it? Did you strengthen your roots, or did you waste the weather? Did you become someone who could carry more, or did you stay the same and hope life would lower its price? Life rarely lowers its price. If you want more, you have to grow more. If you want a stronger life, you have to become stronger than the excuses that keep stealing your days. That is why this matters so much. You are not just fighting for tasks on a list. You are fighting for your name, for your standard, for the way you will remember yourself. Years from now, you will not care that a bed felt warm or a scroll felt easy. You will care about whether you showed up. Whether you built the body, the mind, the work, the character you were called to build. And imagine that future version of you for a second. Not a fantasy, a real man, a real woman. Stronger eyes, calmer mind, better habits, a cleaner room, a healthier body, money handled with care, work done on time, promises kept, sleep earned, respect in the mirror. That person is not created in one grand speech. That person is built the way a wall is built, brick by brick, morning by morning, choice by choice. And every time you say yes to what matters, you place another brick. Every time you kill your laziness, you place another brick. Every time you choose discipline over delay, you place another brick. Then one day you stand back and realize you are not looking at a pile anymore. You are looking at a life, a strong one, a real one, a life that can hold weight, a life that can protect others, a life that can carry purpose without collapsing. That is what is at stake here. Not just productivity, identity, dignity, legacy. So stop treating this like a small issue. This is not about being a bit more efficient. This is about whether you will remain a passenger in your own life or finally take the wheel. Let that settle in. Time is moving with or without your permission. Seasons are changing with or without your feelings. The question is whether you will change with them. So tell me, when the future version of you looks back at this very hour, will he call it the moment you finally stood up or the moment you sat down again? Remember the first thing I told you, the scary part is not that you feel lazy. The scary part is that you are starting to build a whole life around that feeling. That is the loop, that is the danger, and that is why this moment matters more than you think. Because a life does not break all at once. It breaks in silence, it breaks in delay, it breaks in the tiny betrayals nobody sees. But a life is also rebuilt in silence. Rebuilt in plain choices, rebuilt in the hour when you decide that enough is enough. So breathe for a second and picture this. Picture yourself a year from now. You wake up early without a fight. The room is clean. Your body feels lighter. Your eyes look alive. The work that once scared you is now part of your nature. You keep promises. You finish things. You walk with the quiet strength of someone who knows he can trust himself. The people around you feel it. Your family feels it. Your future feels it. The dream that used to make you feel guilty now makes you feel grateful because you finally met it with effort. And all of that began with one hard choice in one ordinary hour. The hour when you stopped begging your feelings for permission and started leading your life like it mattered. Because it does matter. You matter. Your future matters. The gifts in you matter. The people you may one day help matter. So do not go back to sleep. Do not call this motivation and then waste it. Do not let these words become another little spark that dies in the dark. Stand up. Drink the water, make the call, clean the room, do the work. Start small if you must, but start now. Kill your laziness before it teaches your future to live without your potential. Kill your laziness before your excuses become your personality. Kill your laziness before one more year disappears and leaves you with nothing but reasons. This is your life, your one life. Guard it, build it, honor it. And when the old voice comes back tomorrow and whispers later, answer it with action. When it says rest, ask if rest was earned. When it says hide, step forward. When it says quit, take one more step, then another, then another. No drama, no noise, no performance, just proof. Let the world meet the version of you that does what he said he would do. Let the mirror meet a face it can respect. Let your future meet the person it has been waiting on for far too long. The scary part was never that you felt lazy. The scary part was believing you had to stay that way. You do not anymore. No excuses, no waiting, no quitting, just work, just discipline, just becoming unstoppable.